Mooi man.
I can see,
Okay.
can see everything. Wait, my right car.
Kry ook kan, kry ook kan.
Yeah, we haven't started yet. Alright guys, to the guys that are on the stream, apologies, we had a absolute meltdown. Unfortunately my camera decided it wasn't going to work. We did have one or two settings that weren't correct, so we restarted, and as I restarted I lost my internet, so I had to go and restart the router. So the technology is definitely not on my side this evening, but we will be racing shortly. The guys are all back in the lobby, all those thumbs are up. And with me in the commentary box I will have Marius. We will go into a chat party shortly. But I see all the thumbs up other than Mal-Jacques. If you can just get up, thank you very much. Now we can go racing.
Oké, starten we weer.
So as you can see, the guys are currently on track. We have 10 drivers here this evening. Unfortunately, as mentioned, my camera is not working. It decided to go very strange. We had some thunder and lightning happening here over the weekend and it destroyed the color. I did try and correct it, going black and white, which what you would have seen when I raced on Monday. But today, absolutely nothing. It is not working. I've tried to fix it, but alas.
Okay, now I can hear you at last. Can you hear me, Dylan?
I can hear you loud and clear, Morris. Thank you so much for joining me here in the commentary box on such late notice. I really appreciate that.
No bother. Let's see what these guys... Let's jump into Charles and see what a pole lap looks like.
Yeah, there has been quite a bit of chatter saying that Charles is very quick here. What do you think he's doing differently to the other guys, Morris?
Look what's happening on track. It's just like MotoGP. No one wants a tow.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Fun and games. Charles was wake up. Who was that?
That looks like it's actually Bruno Scholl, and that was Theo in front of him.
Okay, everyone's gonna look for a tow. Eventually the time's gonna run out and you'll have to gun for it, whether there's someone behind you or not. Ah, looks like Bruno's got a nice tow there from...
so that is Theo in front of him. Yeah, that is Theo.
That's it.
So Theo actually racing in the Bravo tier this evening, and he's going heads up right against Ashley. So we'll definitely just keep our eyes on them. Unfortunately, not enough guys wanting to race in the Bravo tier, so we brought them up to the Alpha tier to get racing. So Basha, Theo's actually doing pretty well here for himself. Thought that Bruno would actually start closing him down, but he hasn't really been doing that.
No. He's not getting the full advantage of the tow. Theo's a bit too fast.
So I did spend some time with Theo on track on Monday night, I think it was, and the time that I was catching him, man, it took me a very long time to do that before he landed up disconnecting, unfortunately. So we're at the Bruno circuit. There are 15 corners on this track. You can see Theo now just moving out of the way, seeing that he was a little bit slow in some of those sectors. And interesting to see that.
Now Charlie's looking for it though.
Yeah, just coming out of that last corner, I could see that Charles had both the brakes and the accelerator on at the same time. So that's pretty interesting to have seen.
Yeah, no, I often do that too, to just turn the nose in a corner without lifting the throttle. You just tap the brake while you stay on the throttle.
Does that not unstabilize the car at all?
Not these cars, no. I suppose you should use it correctly as well.
And yes, as I have mentioned, I have had a few difficulties with technology. Unfortunately, our points system hasn't been playing nasty with us. Let's just go and have a look. All the back office was corrected, but unfortunately the front office on the website itself wasn't pulling through correctly. So unfortunately the points, if I were to give them to you, would not be accurate, but we'll definitely get that ready for round number 9. So Charles going the quickest, that is a 2:14.6, and Durkee, he's gone second quickest with a 2:15.5, followed by Jake's 0.1 of a second down, then Jacques and 0.4, and Bruno, he's down in the 2:16s.
Interesting, Christopher hasn't put in a lap yet.
So I'm not sure whether Christopher's been invalidating his laps, probably.
Nothing came up on the race feed, so I don't know.
Well, he's got just under 3.5 minutes, which will mean that he'll have this lap plus possibly one more, and if he doesn't do that,
also,
he will be starting from the back.
Yeah, Theo also hasn't put in a lap yet. We know what he can do. He's not even remotely close to it. There he is. Someone's got a nice toe there from him.
That, I believe, would be Jacques. Because Charles, he is in the... oh, it's not Jacques. I was incorrect. So that means it's possibly Dane. So I still don't know who that driver is currently behind him. I honestly thought that we'd be able to figure that out, but unfortunately not. It is Durkee. There we go. Thank you, Morris, for figuring that out for us. And we see a Yaku de Beer. He has joined us on the stream. Welcome, Yaku. Thank you so much for your continued support. His message is, let's go all, have a good qualifying. Thank you very much there. I'm sure the guys will be concentrating at this moment. But Yaku, as always, thank you very much for joining. Oh, that was Theo going off there. So he's not going to be able to improve on his lap time.
Well, Dirkie lost his toe.
So I am quite surprised, just from Scholl to second place there's nearly a second, but then there's a second between second place all the way down to 7th, so they're all within a second of each other. So I know that this race is going to get extremely close, and if Scholl's able to break away, if Scholl's able to break away, he's going to have a clean track ahead of him. But the guys from 2nd to 7th are going to be having an almighty battle.
Oh yes, I mean look at that. Dirkie and Christopher's times are almost identical. Jake's are only a few hundreds off. We haven't seen a quick lap from Bruno yet. Nice toe, he's pulling out of that one.
Christopher Jeff realised he's probably not going to go any quicker, so Christopher, for now, he's in 3rd place. And
let's see if Bruno can.
That is the end of the qualifying. No, not a problem. That is the end of the qualifying. So the guys who are currently on a lap, this will be their last chance. And looking at Ashley in 7th place, he's got Theo behind him. That's 0.8 between the two of them. And if I'm not mistaken, Ashley, he still leads the championship ahead of Theo by Bruno. Just 8 points.
Look at 2nd, 3rd and 4th there.
That is absolutely incredible.
Okay, Mole's still on a lap.
So he could very well improve on that lap time and put himself in the mix even closer.
Yeah, yeah. No, Theo is also outside. Oops, okay, let's see what Theo does.
So that's Theo now, he's coming through turn number 14. This is the last corner.
It's back straight.
I got myself very confused. It really looked like turn 14. But that is one of the things about this track, is that you've got so many left right combinations. So he's actually now going into turn number 11. So he'll start making his way back up the hill into 12. And I found myself letting the car getting very sideways here, and then just at that moment you could see the rear would just snap out on me, and I landed up on that wall on the inside a good couple of times.
It's just Theo still, and Andrew on track. Let's see how much he improved. Oops, a bit deep into that corner.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to compromise
the exit, yeah.
Most definitely. He would have definitely scrubbed off some speed there.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Ooh, there we go.
No, he bet it, but only with a 10th.
So that is extremely close. Charles is on the top spot with Dirkie 2nd, Bruno's in 3rd, Christopher in 4th place with Jake's 5th, Jacques 6th, Ashley's in 7th, that's Theo in 8th, Andrew 9th, and Dane in 10th. And if we just look at 2nd to 5th place, that is 0.02 of a second separating 4 drivers. That is going to be insane in the first couple of corners. So I'll just
nice and close, yes.
Give them the start, so they'll now be in the setup lobby. So what we're waiting for now is just the sync button to come up. Once it, or the sync notification come up. Once that notification comes up, we know that all the drivers would have readied up and we'll be ready to go racing. And this is quite a wide track, but I know that this first corner, if you don't get that line right, it just impacts you so badly on that exit going into the next couple of corners.
Very important. You get the nice smooth lines on this track, otherwise you lose lots of speed. Luckily it's a nice wide track, so you can use a wide area, have different lines through it as your tires start to degrade.
And did you try the car at all, Morris?
Well, just before this race I did a couple of laps just to see what it's like, and it's going to be hard on the tires. It's going to be tricky to run it right through on a set of tires, especially the left front. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's the sinking.
There we go. That is the sinking that we were looking for. It is green lights and we are racing, and Jakes has had a great start coming off the line. We do see that Bruno did a bog down. Jakes has jumped from 5th place. He's now up into 3rd. He's going to have Dirkie on the inside, so Jakes will need to go around the outside, which is a little bit slow, but if he tucks in behind him he might be able to get a little run down into turn number 3. Side by side, Jakes and Dirkie. Jakes will now be on the inside, which will on the outside, which will now set him up for the inside. So all the drivers are pretty safe coming through the first couple of corners. Now into turn number 6. This is a double right-hander into turn number 7, and then once again it sweeps back to the left. But pretty much single file the whole way through, which is really good to see that the guys are not trying to attack early on. So the race leader, Scholl, he is currently putting a little gap ahead of the 2nd place Jakes, and Dirkie's in 3rd, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have both Christopher and Bruno putting that pressure on him in the next couple of corners. It was a great shot of all the drivers on the track at the same time. That is out of turn number 10. Or have I got it wrong again, and that is actually 11. We'll see now. Once I go into this corner I will get my bearings back. So that was actually turn number 12. They are now through 14. This is now 15 and back to the start finish line. And Bruno is putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Christopher. And that is Ashley. He's now moved himself ahead of Andrew. So side by side, great move there by Ashley, and he's actually gone ahead of Theo as well. So Ashley got a great run there. So he will now be up. Oh, we have a driver off. Unfortunately, we didn't see that what had actually happened, but that looked like that was Dirkie who put himself in the dirt there.
Drop back another place there behind Theo.
But that is definitely one of the problems, is when you've got so many cars so close together, that one little mistake can definitely cost you.
Lots of pressure from Theo, yeah.
And Theo's the type of driver that he will rather wait for the mistake than try and force it. He doesn't like contact on the car, so I'm sure he'll be more than happy just to sit there and wait it out for Ashley to make that mistake.
Lots of pressure here in the front as well on Bruno.
And that is
From
Christopher
Christopher.
trying. The guys are weaving all over the track to try and get the benefit of the toe, and I think Jake's he's really benefiting from that because he's gone a little bit wide there.
Oh, Jake's went a bit wide there.
So now he's going to have both Bruno and Christopher right on the back of him. Yeah, they're coming through turns 11 and 12. Sorry, 12 and 13. Then a back up the hill. Really close between these three in second, third and fourth place. Crossing the line to begin a lap, and number 3, Charles was Jake second, Bruno is third, Christopher in a fourth place, Jacques fifth, Ashley, he's leading the Bravo tier ahead of Theo in seventh. That is Dirkie, he's in eighth with Andrew ninth and Dane in a 10th position. But Morris, just look at those lap times, a 15.9 by Charles. We saw Jake's made that little mistake, so that put him on a 16.2. Then it's a 15.2, 15.7, 15.6. So very, very close there up front. And surprisingly enough is that Charles actually not pulling away as much as I thought he would be.
Yeah, I think he's got a very good qualifying setup. But when it comes to the race pace, the guys are pretty even. But he had a good start, and to get that gap to him smaller, they'll really have to stop fighting each other and pull each other towards him. He's scoring out of this battling behind him.
So that's Bruno. He's moved to the inside. You can see he's now moved up into second place. So it's now his turn to start chasing down Charles. Jake's down in third, and Christopher right up behind him. A little show by Jake's, but I wonder if Bruno saw him coming and actually the fake worked there, but Bruno manages to go on the faster outside line. And
very clever, he knew where it was going to be on the inside.
Yeah.
Good racing from all of them.
So a great shot, seeing the guys just jostling for position there.
Don't throw away Jock, that's just sitting there waiting in the background.
Definitely not.
He's
Bruno
watching this battle very closely.
You can see Bruno
saving
also
his tires.
Saving the tires, but what he's getting is the benefit of the slipstream, because now they're going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1. So Jacques can essentially just pick his driver. Wow, great move there. Bruno obviously is third there.
Stripped the yellow plate paint off of that Bruno's car as they came past there. Okay.
And Bruno moves back in behind Jake's there, with Christopher up into second place. But now Christopher and Jake's are going to be 2 wide into this corner. And Jacques is getting ever closer. And this 4-way battle now has caused Charles to open up the gap to over 2 seconds.
Yeah, it benefits 2 people, this battle. Jacques, that's catching, and Charles, that's pulling away. So, and right behind this bunch, I think Berkey just passed Theo. Yeah, Theo must have made a mistake. There's Theo. Sorry, I'm going to jump back to the battle.
I see Jake's is now starting to drop back a bit. And Jacques is relishing at the opportunity. So Jacques could possibly be moving himself. Oh, there's a time penalty allocated there for Dirkie. We can see that his number has just gone red.
I think that because of them pushing so hard, that left front is starting to heat up. So you'll probably see a little bit of... No, well, okay, there, I must swallow my words because Jakes is putting on the pressure big time, and Jock.
But it is so good to see how close these guys can get, and I don't think any one of them have actually made contact yet, and that's exactly what we want.
Good racecraft.
So let's see that you can see the time difference is that Charles is going just about a second quicker than a battle for third, fourth and fifth, and Christopher actually matching Charles for lap time, because now he's out of that battle, doesn't need to worry about what's happening around him, so he can just get the lap times in and start trying to close him down.
Yeah, getting into a good rhythm is crucial to save your tires for the end, because that could play a big role in the end, how much tire you've got left. Also a consideration.
Because I know some of the guys were saying that their tires were just about dead near the end of the race. Oh, Bruno.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that left front will take a big battering.
Oh,
yes.
that was a very good move there by Bruno. He saw that Jakes was going to go in, so all he did was just straighten out just a little bit, just to give Jakes enough space. But all that Jakes did was just compromise his exit speed, and Bruno was able just to take their place back without any hassle.
Very nice.
So that is turn number 11, and believe it or not, it is the second of two hairpins. Turn 10 is effectively a hairpin because it is going just about past 180 degrees. This 11, then it gets you back up the hill, up through 12 into 13, and then that same combination of the left into the right.
Nice
Jake's
move,
getting
Jakes.
very, very nice move. He got very tight on the inside there. Not necessarily a line that I would have liked to have taken, because I really didn't trust this car on the curbs. Lap times, now that we're going into lap number 6, we can see that Christopher's actually gone 0.3 second quicker. Much tighter line there for Bruno into turn number 1, and on the exit of 2 he's now on the outside, and that's now Jacques being able to get a tow from Jakes. So will Jacques be able to move ahead of Bruno into turn number 4? No, he doesn't. But it just shows you how effective the slipstream on this track is in these cars.
Yeah, you can see it in the times. Charles and Christopher's times are a bit slower than the guys in the pack. Jacques and Jakes were the fastest two on the track on the last lap.
And I keep saying it, I've said it last week, that I'm very, very impressed with just how far Jacques has actually come. Here he is mixing it up right in the top 5.
Oh yeah, like I say, he's one of the 2 fastest guys on the track at the moment. He's just waiting. He's just waiting. Looking after those tires.
So Morris, from your point of view, should he just sit there for the next 10 minutes or so, see what the race then brings, and then from there start pushing? Or what would you do in this situation?
Yes, I would have sat right there till after halfway, and then pushing too early on the tires would really make you pay in the end when you really need it. So I would rather err on caution and save my tires until after halfway. So as long as he can keep up with him and just sit there, he can benefit in the end by not battling and using those tires a lot, braking hard, turning in hard.
Yep. And now it does seem like he's now starting to catch Christopher. Jake's going 0.2 quicker, and it's Christopher and Charles doing pretty much the similar lap.
Yeah, those two pushed really hard in these laps without the benefit of really having a tow, so they could not save anything much.
So to the guys that have just joined the stream, give us a hi, give us a like, let us know what your thoughts are of this race so far. Who do you think will be the ultimate winner? After the 40-minute race, we are currently into 25 minutes left. We definitely want to hear from you.
What we must also remember is some guys just drive better on used tires. Like Bruno, for instance, who's always very fast in the last half of the race.
Yep, definitely I agree with you there. He definitely does have something special near the closing stages, and he's able to find just that little bit more than what the others can. Oh!
Whoa! The commentators... Oh, that was a lag or something.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
The last thing I wanted to see was him going straight off and putting in the wall. So guys, that was just some lag. Bruno hasn't put it into the walls. His car shouldn't be looking like that. But with that amount of lag, normally that would result in a disconnection. So really great to see he is still there. So Charles managed to open his gap a little bit. That was very close with Jakes and Christopher going into turn 1. So Jakes will now be on the outside coming out of turn number 3. So I'm sure Christopher will start closing him up. But if Jakes is able to stay where he is and go around the outside, he'll be on the inside for the next corner. So that is not where Christopher wanted to be. You can see he's going very defensive. He's going to try to go for the wider line once again, going into turn number 6. A little touch of the brakes there.
This is dangerous. Now this is where the tires get used a bit more than what you want to.
I think Jakes might have made a little mistake, and he's actually now slowed up Bruno, because you can see that Christopher's moved just a little bit of a gap ahead of Jakes.
Oh, there they all bunched up again. And Jock is just still sitting there, waiting patiently. Very good.
So that is currently the 9th placed driver, that is Dirkie. He did have a little off earlier on in the race. You can see that his lap times, he's currently about 2 seconds slower than the front pack of 5. That is actually circulating in 7th place. He's currently behind Theo. They both, Ashley and Theo, are racing in the Bravo tier, and just behind Ashley, that is Andrew. Andrew currently in 8th position. And I see that Jakes is moved up into 2nd place there, Morris. So Christopher down into 3rd, But Christopher will, I'm sure, fight back with Bruno right up behind him. So where do you want to be now going into turn number 4? I'd rather be on the outside because then I have the inside for the next corner. And I think that's exactly what Christopher's tried, but not close enough, so he will have to slot in behind Jake's.
Yeah, you see, that is actually a very fast left-right, so if you take a different line through there, it will really compromise your
Bruno
speed
having a
through
little
this
look
side.
on the inside of Christopher, so Christopher's compromised, he goes wide. And he might actually lose the place to Jacques. Nobody managed to recover it there.
Jacques is very patient.
But I'm sure his heart's beating at 1,000 beats a second there.
I think he's just waiting for the first signs of tire degradation, then he'll pounce.
It is absolutely incredible to see how close these four are. So that we're just past halfway, and you can see that the gap between first place Charles to second, third, fourth and fifth, just about 3 seconds, and it is a brutal pack of 4 here. Like I'd mentioned before, it is a 4-way horse. And I must say, I cannot believe how often these guys have actually been changing positions between Christopher leading to Jake's leading this battle. And it's been Bruno who hasn't managed to get into the front of this pack, because I think once he does get ahead, he might start pulling away. Yaku just put up a comment to say, lol, yes, first world internet problems. Unfortunately, Yaku, you are so right, especially with us here in South Africa. Whoa, very close there between Bruno and Christopher going into turn number 4. And if I'm looking at Jacques' pace, he's matching these guys for pace, but what I'm noticing is he's just keeping just a little bit more distance than the other 3 are, where they're really having a go at each other. But Jacques is keeping that 0.2, 0.3 second between the 4th place driver, and I think that is pretty smart. So if there is, we hope it doesn't happen, a little bit of contact, that at least Jacques is able to react and get out of the way.
No, he must be smiling because he's just watching them bugger up their tires.
So that is Christopher making a move on the inside of Bruno into the hairpin at turn number 11. But now Bruno will be on the inside here for turn number 12, so Christopher will have to give way. Oh, a little contact.
It looks like lag.
Yeah, there is lag. They're busy
Big
going
time
in
lag.
between each other. If you just jump off Bruno, there we go. So we can see it's Bruno who's actually got himself just a little bit of lag there.
Hectic, yeah.
I just hope that we don't lose Bruno. We can just see how he's staggering, but the
Well,
outcome of this is that Jakes is up into
yeah.
second and Jacques is in third.
Yep. I think it must be very difficult for Christopher to drive now with Bruno lagging like that.
Yeah, because we're not really going to know where Bruno is.
No, he won't know either because the car will be jumping around. Unfortunate.
So all we can hope is that it does just clear up, and that we don't cause any further issues, man. But it really does surprise me how everything was going absolutely smoothly, then all of a sudden a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, it's definitely Bruno's internet that's lagging a little bit.
Because that's now actually put Bruno into, well, he was in 3rd place.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see what's going on there now, unfortunately, because it is close.
And I just know that once the game catches up, we're going to have cars going off, and I actually think that Bruno might be disconnecting. That's it. So, oof. I was about to say, if Bruno stops, that's going to be the end of it, because he will disconnect.
Yes, no, it's very bad now. Whoa, let me just see if it
Just
goes
get some
away,
calm.
Yeah. I don't think these two guys know actually what to do at the moment, but just sit there.
Yeah, Yaku's just put up a massive ha 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 for us, and I'm sure you can relate to us, Yaku. Yeah, that's definitely very, very interesting to see that. So that is Ashley pulling away from Andrew, but unfortunately he is not catching Theo. So Theo will take maximum points for the Bravo tier. We had to get both the Bravo tier and the Alpha tier racing together here this evening. So Dane has had a very quiet night here in 10th place. We know that his wife has just recently had a baby, so congratulations to Dane and your family, as well as to Colin for being a grandfather.
Wow.
We did see a picture of Dane putting up the baby monitor right next to his screen, so we do know that he is being a responsible parent, so that is great to see. Well done, Dane.
Well, that's cool for commitment, because he must be tired. I know, a new dad don't sleep much.
We go to sleep every 2 hours for maybe 30 minutes. And the
Yeah.
first time Chase slept through, he was 3 years old. So a little bit over 10 minutes to go, and Charles got about just on a 4-second lead ahead of Jakes, with Bruno in 3rd place. It seems that his internet has calmed itself down. You can see that he is a lot smoother. And Christopher in 4th place with Jacques down in 5th position.
Bruno's also got a penalty now.
So 2 seconds there for
Bruno's
Bruno.
got a 2 seconds.
So he's going to have to really put that pedal down to try and open up a substantial gap ahead of both Christopher and Jacques, or else we'll actually see that Bruno will end down in 5th place. And it seems that Christopher's now applying an attack, or one of Bruno might have got a slowdown, because he seems to be very slow out of that turn number 5. Oh, little tag on the back there.
Oh, it's lag. I know it's lag. Hope so. You could see him lagging there a little bit.
So shot of the second place driver, that is Jake's coming back down the hill. So that is turn number 11, the hairpin, when that now will start making their way back up through 12 and 13 and then 14, 15, which is a very similar type of corner for both of them. And I do find myself getting very confused sometimes as to just having to reset and think, where am I on the track?
Second last corner.
So quite interesting. I'm just looking at the track, and we've turn 4 and 5 is a left into a right. Turn 7 into 8 is a right into a left. You then have 8 into 10, that is a left into right. 12 and 13 are a left into right, and 14, 15 are a left into right. So there are 4 left into rights on this track. Jacques making a move on the inside. He is now on the inside, coming into turn number 5, and that was very close. I think Jacques actually decided just to slam on the brakes there, and we saw Bruno going past. So that is Christopher now going around the outside of Jacques. So Jacques was up into 3rd place. He's now back into 5th. Whoa, big sideways moment there for Bruno. Saw that. So we're less than 10 minutes to go. Bruno is sideways once again.
The tires are very slippery now, but he likes that.
So with just under 9 minutes to go, we should be able to get in another 4 laps or so. That car is very, very sideways. I wonder if Bruno was doing that for the cameras. But that was a great shot there, Bruno. Nice, thank you very much for that. But you're not making it easy on yourself.
No, his tires are buggered. He's got no drive up there. Look at Christopher. Actually pull the gap. Field is spreading out now a little bit now that the tires are seeing the end of their lifespan.
Yep. And I'm just looking at the timesheet, and we see that we are down to 9, and I can see that there is 1 blue dot in the pits. I think that would be Dirkie. So Dirkie has retired from this race. And Jacques not giving up against Christopher, and I think this might be where his strategy starts coming in. That will Jacques be able to put an attack.
I think he might have more tire left. I think he's got a little bit more tire than the guys in front of him.
Oh, there's Bruno having a bit of a lag because that had him right off on the sand.
Shaw can save his tires easily to the end. It's his race to lose. Jakes as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Jakes is very happy having made it past both Bruno and Christopher. Just getting himself in the 2nd place.
6 minutes remaining and the times are stable. Christopher, oh, now it's Christopher and Jock that's lagging.
No, that's because we're on Bruno. If you jump back to Christopher, you'll see.
Okay.
That is very strange because I believe that Bruno is on Faber.
I've got no idea.
We see that it's just stabilized now, so he's actually shown how far he is ahead of Christopher and Jacques. But having that stutter so close to you, you wouldn't know how close that driver is. So out of turn number 5 down the hill through the double right-hander 5 and 6.
You know what? Bruno is catching Jakes, and he's catching him while he made up more than a second just in... I don't know if Jakes made a mistake. It don't look like it because his time towards Charles is still the same. But Bruno made up more than a second in the last lap on Jakes. Even though the last lap times are pretty even Stevens to all the top ones, except Charles is a bit almost a second quicker than anybody. Except for Mole. Mole is the second quickest on track.
So that would definitely show that he
More
might have more tyre. Yep.
Let's see, this
100%
could
agree
be
with you.
interesting.
So we've got just on 2 laps to go.
Both of them are actually catching Bruno again.
I'm not sure how my controller will end up falling off the table next to me, but that was the bang that you would have heard. So we will have 2 more laps after this one, because we see that Charles would have already crossed the start finish line with 3 minutes 20, so he'll cross the line with approximately about 40 seconds to go, complete that lap, and that will be this race over.
Okay, Jake's put a good lap in there.
So Jake's going about 0.5 quicker than Bruno. So it might be now that Bruno's tyres are absolutely dead, because that Christopher made up a second on Bruno there. And Charles had a very easy race out in front. He wasn't involved with any battles.
One more lap remaining after this one.
That is correct. So we will have a much closer finish than we think, because I can see Christopher's closing up that gap on Bruno. He's now within a second of him. So let's see whether Bruno can just hold it together for the next couple of laps. Oh, next couple of corners. He will have 1 more to go. And Christopher 0.1 under his fastest lap, so he really is not having a problem at the moment with his tyres. So up into the second last corner. This is now out of turn number 15 and looks like...
Christopher putting lots of pressure on Bruno. One more lap after this one.
So that's Christopher now moving
see
to the
if
inside,
Jacques can
showing his intention.
capitalize.
Now it will be for Jacques to close up onto Bruno. See, Bruno actually had to touch the brakes there, because when he moved in, he had already got back on the power, where Christopher was actually slowing down. I call it.
Christopher did it.
It really was a great move there by Christopher.
This is going to be tight.
I thought Bruno was to have a little look here into turn number 6. And I'm starting to think that Bruno's tyres might have been heating up, which was the reason why he was sliding, because I don't see him doing that anymore. Out of turn number 10, this will be an opportunity
battle for the final podium.
for where Bruno might be able to have an opportunity here into turn number 11 if he was close enough. Not close enough just there. But yes, this is what we want to see. We want to see the guys fighting it out. There was just a little bit of contact between these two, but we do think that it was definitely lag related. Then out of turn number 13 up the hill.
Who will it be in third place?
So Bruno has a late
Large
dive,
lunge.
but Christopher sees him coming and he straightens out of it. A great maneuver there by Christopher, and will Jacques be able to get a little run here? But Charles will cross the line in first place with Jakes in second. A epic battle there for Christopher in third.
To finish between those two.
So Jacques will actually get that fourth place due to Bruno's time penalty. Theo will come home ahead of Ashley, so Theo will take maximum points there with Ashley in the second place. And Andrew down in 8th place with Dane in 9th position. So Marius, if we can just bring that screen up just once more. I just wanted to see the comparison of those fastest lap times. So we just have one more driver you can see on the actual track map coming out of turn number 14. Now you'll have just on 28 seconds to go. Once it crosses the line, and that will be the end of the race. And there we have it. It was in fact Durkee that retired on the 12th lap. Dane finishing in 9th with Andrew 8th, Ashley in 7th place behind Theo in 6th, Bruno in 5th place with Jacques in 4th, taking advantage of that time penalty from Bruno. Christopher a great 4th, 3rd place, and Jakes in 2nd with Charles coming up in 1st. So we'll just click the return to lobby and we'll just go into the post-race interviews.
It doesn't always happen, Bruno. This is the first time I see you back.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Once again, the racing was absolutely fantastic.
Yes, sir, but that first half of the race was your
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, you guys had a great battle there for the second, third and fourth and first position. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Pity about lagging from Bruno, but I suppose the guys around him couldn't really see where he was.
Yeah.
En jy was erop, maar Sarco's alright is voorbij. So,
Yeah, no, but it was a great, right from start to finish. You guys were fighting for that final podium position. It was great.
Right, Bruno, can we start
Well
with
done,
you?
Charles. You benefited out of the backlink because you could pull a nice gap while everybody was backlinked behind you
Yeah.
and buggering up their tires.
en ek dink Jake het moer sy advantage getrek en hy lag uit die bliksem.
Ja.
So gejaag het.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
guys, well done. That was really awesome to watch. Unfortunately, just a few little lag moments that we saw from Bruno. Bruno, we'll start off with you. A fourth place, unfortunately, losing out to that time penalty. What was it like being in that mix?
It was awesome racing. That was great. It's really great. 3 wide. It was just great and crazy. Like the guys were a bit crazy, but it was fun crazy. But then I don't know. I lagged and it kind of just separated everybody, and the momentum was gone, and then just killed the race for me. Because I was enjoying myself. So I do apologize. I didn't know what to do, whether just quit or hope it came right. But when it came right, then it was a bit too late. So
No, really unfortunately. And Jacques, you basically stood behind, or was stuck behind that pack for majority of that race. What were you thinking? Were you waiting for the guys to make a mistake? Was that part of your plan?
Yeah, it was part of my plan, and then that actual lag came, but well, it's over and done. But I enjoyed it. If it weren't for the lag, I think Jake's, Bruno, me and Christopher had quite a lekker battle till the end, but it was lekker still. I enjoyed it.
And then Christopher, unfortunately, yeah, you got a little bit of a shunt, but you really fought back hard to take back that third position.
Flat out. Yeah, it was quite a race. I was hoping, when I was behind Charles, I was hoping that he might make 1 or 2 mistakes so I could unsettle him. Unfortunately, Jake's caught me in the slipstream, and then the 4 of us got into quite a ding-dong of a race, which was absolutely awesome. Unfortunate for Bruno on the lagging side of things, but other than that, there was amazing racing. It was absolutely brilliant. Thanks, guys.
And then my Jake's second place. I'm sure you were happy to have broken away from that pack.
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. That first half of that race was epic. It was one of my best races that I've ever raced in, and to fight with those 3 guys was awesome. I lost 2 places there, but I made it up, and when I just had a little bit of a gap, that lagging started to hit the 2 guys behind me, and that's why I could manage that to make up that gap. Otherwise, it would have been very close between 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. But thoroughly enjoyed it.
Really great to see. Well done there, Jakes. And then Charles, for you, you managed to just break away from the pack, but I'm sure you were really happy to not be involved with what was going on behind you.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. The first few laps was quite hectic, and the guys were really quick. And the slip here again is very strong. So I tried to pull away, and slowly but surely. And once I got to 2.5 seconds, I could open the gap, and then I just managed that front left tire just to make sure it got to the end.
No, really cool, well driven and great to watch. And then Ashley and Theo, you guys landed up having quite a quiet race in the end there, Ashley, but unfortunately you did lose out there to Theo. I think you drove a great race. What were your feelings on that race?
Well, firstly, I had a really bad start, and then I managed to hit the curb. I think I was in the 2nd or 3rd lap, and spun the car around, and that was my race over. I couldn't catch the guys after that. But well done to Theo, and well done to the rest of the guys, and it was a great race. I believe, but I didn't see much.
Don't worry, you could go back and watch the stream. Yeah, you'll see it.
Awesome.
And then Theo, a win for you over Ashley, and that definitely does close the gap between your championship. What does it feel like driving with the Bravo guys? I mean the Alpha guys, sorry.
The Alpha guys. No, it's been awesome. I just hope I've stayed out of everybody's way. I did let Dirkie pass me at one stage, but after that he spun out. Unfortunately, Ash spun out as well. And I think if Ash didn't spun out, it would have been a very close battle between him and him, between me and him, because at the end, you know, at the second half, we've kept that 10-second. He caught me a little bit, but then at the end, I kept that 10-second gap between me and him. But
Awesome.
Awesome race.
Thank you very much. And then guys, don't forget, next week we head to Silverstone International for the 2 times 20-minute sprint races. But if you check the weather settings, the first heat is overcast with the second heat light rain. So make sure you get both your wet and dry setups ready for that race. Guys, we'll see you in a week's time. Keep well and thanks for watching. Yos.
Thanks, Dylan.
Right manne, mooi gery.